Hey guys, this morning I'd love to cover with you the new Jobkeeper payment scheme recently announced by the federal government. The Jobkeeper scheme is part of a $130 billion stimulus package announced last week, and it's aimed to help employers keep Australian employees working during the coronavirus crisis. It allows eligible businesses who've been affected by the coronavirus to access a subsidy in order to keep those employees on their books, regardless of how the business is trading during this time. So if you're an employee and your employer participates in the scheme, it means a few things. Firstly, if you normally earn $1,500 or more per fortnight before tax, you'll simply continue to receive that income. That regular income. If you earn less than $1,500 per fortnight, your employer must pay you that minimum $1,500 before tax per fortnight, meaning that effectively you will earn more. Say for instance you earn $1,000 per fortnight, you will now earn $1,500 per fortnight before tax. Details on how it's practically administered just haven't been released as of yet. If you've been stood down by your employer under the Fair Work Act due to impacts of the coronavirus, and your employer is participating in the Jobkeeper scheme, the employer must pay you the minimum $1,500 per fortnight before tax. If your employer is participating in the scheme, they must still pay the superannuation guarantee on regular wages. What this basically means is, for instance, if you're earning $1,000 per fortnight before tax, and then you're receiving a top up of $500 so that you receive a full $1,500 per fortnight, your employer must still pay superannuation on the regular wage component, the $1,000 per fortnight amount in this example, but they don't have to pay it on the remaining $500 in this example. If you're an employer, there's two main categories of eligibility. One, if you're turning over more than $1 billion a year and under. If you're turning over more than $1 billion in revenue in a year, you need to demonstrate at least a 50% reduction in your annual revenues for at least a month. Now that's not most businesses. Most businesses will be turning over less than $1 billion. And for those businesses, you need to demonstrate a minimum of a 30% reduction in revenue for at least a month. For instance, if you looked at your March 2020 year revenues, those revenues need to be 30% lower than March in 2019. I might add that if you're a sole trader or self-employed, you actually personally can claim the Jobkeeper payments, assuming your revenues have fallen by the 30% amount in the same way that employees can. You just need to make sure you claim the Jobkeeper payment on your own behalf through the government website. So an eligible employee is an employee whom is currently employed or by an eligible employer or has been stood down or rehired. That employee must have been employed as a permanent employee as at the 1st of March 2020. If the employee is a casual employee, they need to have been employed for 12 months. The employee needs to be at least 16 years old, not receiving any of the Jobkeeper payments from another employer, so you can only claim the Jobkeeper or be eligible for the Jobkeeper payment from one employer. And the employee must meet certain visa and citizen requirements that you can find in the link above. Just on the point around Jobkeeper claims from one employer, this is something that may be relevant to some part-time or casual employees. The Jobkeeper payment is only able to be eligible for the primary job. And the way you determine whether, if you have two jobs or more than two, the job that you claim the tax-free threshold for is the job that's considered your primary job. So that's the one that you can be eligible for the Jobkeeper payment. The other issue is it's quite relevant for casual employees is that right now they're saying that you need to have been employed by that employer for a minimum of 12 months. This is going to make quite a few casual employees ineligible. The government has indicated that they'll have a closer look at that to see if they can loosen those requirements to make more casual employees eligible for the JobKeeper payment. But at this point, there's no change to the announcement. In other words, right now, casuals need to be employed for a minimum of 12 months to be eligible. So applications aren't presently open for the JobKeeper payment scheme, but you can register your interest by visiting the Australian taxation portal, which is in the link above. However, we do know that it will be administered and rolled out through the Australian Taxation Office in conjunction with the single touch payroll system. We do know that payments will commence no earlier than the first week of May. Payments will be made monthly in arrears, meaning that throughout this present month of April, once we know the details, the applications and the processing will take place throughout this month on the basis that they should be processed ready for payment in the first week of May. And the guidance we've had so far is that going forward, payments will be made the following month relevant to the month previous, so paid monthly in arrears. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully that's a little clearer now. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact our office. It's quite a lot of information. We've got a long weekend coming up this week, so you'll hear from me again on Wednesday. Bye for now.